Hello. Today I'm going to be doing a long video sharing tips if you want to get into doing this kind of art. So start by drawing it with pencil, because graphite is a great conductor and that pretty much helps guide the burn. And then I take a solution of sodium hydroxide and water. I use about 80 grams to a bottle of water. Add it slowly in a glass container because it produces heat, the chemical reaction. And I use that because it's common in hydrogen production. And it has no leftover residue chemicals, whatever, left in the hydrogen cell usually after. And so I know that there isn't any off-gassing or any chemicals produced. Not like baking soda where there's a byproduct left over from the burn that needs to be sanded before coating. But there are other electrolytes like potassium hydroxide and vinegar. Some people have even used Dawn dish soap, so just don't use brake cleaner, because that would produce a chemical that we don't have a cure for that would kill you. Just saying, just don't try that. And I just start close. Once it gets into the wood, then I just drag it. If I go too fast, then sometimes it wants to jump off to a different line. But if it conducts well, you can go pretty fast. Like, yeah, it jumps above it there. So, yeah. So you're seeing it real time, how fast it goes. I estimate this will take about 45 minutes at most. And that's another reason why I choose this over using a soldering iron or hot iron. It's because it's quicker. You get the solid line without having to slowly burn into the wood. And I tend to burn myself using a soldering iron, especially if you do it when you're tired. Yeah, other people have that problem too. And then I also have a problem with leaving a soldering iron on occasionally, so this I don't leave on because it's on the trigger. And with this, you only need one trigger, as opposed to with microwave transformers, I highly recommend two, because you don't want to accidentally bump the one trigger when you only have one hand away from it, which has happened to me with this, which it didn't hurt. They say it'll hurt like heartbreak, but sounds like they had some pretty easy heartbreak. I didn't even have a scratch. No burn, no nothing. Yeah, start from this side to drag it back this way since it wants to go up that other path. And I just keep moving it along, otherwise it'll get too thick at the start. Because the longer you burn it, the deeper it burns and the wider the line gets. And I'm looking for these petite thin lines for some more detail. And in case you're wondering, I use a 12,000 volt neon sign transformer, Transco brand, that limits the current to 30 milliamps, which is why it's not, it can be deadly if done horribly wrong. Just don't be stupid about it. I mean, if you make mistakes, it's not going to kill you. If you make a horrible mistake and don't even put it on a switch and do it in a confined space where you can't get away from being shocked, yeah, you're gonna die. Just don't be stupid. Like, not saying it's stupid to do it without a switch, because that's actually how I first did it, and it was fine. I was even able to let go of it, like, didn't seize up my muscles where it is doing that grip of death. I was able to drop it and jump back, which is another reason why I don't like foot pedals, because you tend to want to jump back, so you're going to press down on that pedal. Like, you don't need that, where you really would rather have your hands free, or hands away from the what you're burning if you're using a microwave transformer. Like, I don't see why the foot pedal is really helping much, because your hands could still be on it and you could accidentally step on it, and just, nah, not for me. I just use a microwave momentary switch just because it has enough force that if you drop it on it, it ain't gonna press down on the button just from the weight of its own, like, device. And then I just run that in series with the transformer. I actually use a 2 outlet thing wired in series, so I could just put a regular wall outlet on a switch, plug it in there with it, and it's in series with it. It's going real nice. Very few mistakes. Like, I really haven't made any major, like, slight line jumps, but you know, it's all part of the art. And actually, I'm not even having to re-wet it. So one layer, well, solid layer of pencil and one layer of solution, and it's doing this. Just going over it after it already dried, and it still conducts just fine. No need to re-wet it, and if you re-wet it, it tends to fractal out more instead of giving this nice solid line. But you can also, if you want to make it, some of them quicker, you just do the long lines, just do one at a time, and it will go quicker, like so. Boom. Yeah, I'll go in the middle and then jump to the sides for that one, and jump, pull that down, darken that one a little more. Over that pencil. Doesn't matter which one you drag either. Getting better with dragging the left one too. I'm right-handed, so it's easier to just set the left one and drag the right one. So you don't even have to be ambidextrous and move two at once, like the crazy artists that draw like 4 paintings at once. Like, damn, try hard. When I traced over it with electrolytic solution, I wasn't super finicky. Like, I used a decent sized brush, well, this size brush, and yeah, it did. You could see it went out a little further from the line, but it's still just following the graphite. Yeah, see that? That went a little off. Eh. Let's get some more of them long burns. I like to get some of the longer lines just done in one. Makes it go quicker. Yeah. And then and when it's too wet, it does that, where it's got to burn off the liquid first before it can. If I tap that one up a little, it'll start on that end too, because it burns off from the heat from the spark, and it starts spreading from there too. And I really should be wearing my auto tinting weld glasses, just because that spark is bright and it's like staring at a welder all day. Eventually it will ruin your vision. I got 20/20 vision, and it started to affect me after doing it for the first couple months. But I could just see it so much better without them. Although it's not so bad with the self-tinting ones. Like, you just stop more so you could see it again, and yeah. Okay, let's get some more long ones. That and that. Yep. And for those, I just kind of start on one end, drag it around, and drag back the other way. Yeah, the circles are hardest when they're so tiny. Like especially when you're trying to get details of face, or it's hard to get the same facial expression. I noticed. Did 3 of those paint, like, is the angel watching over the kids walking over the bridge, and every time I got a different face on the angel. Like one even looked like Donald Trump. I was like, no one's gonna buy that. I mean, would you want an angel that looked like Donald Trump watching over your kids? I mean, so long as it's still an angel, I really don't care how it looks, but a lot of people, I don't think, would like that. I guess as soon as I pointed out to my mom, she's like, yeah, I don't want that one, because I was going to give her one. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Okay, so I'm going to put it over here and drag with the right one, since it's more accurate. Steady, same there. These little ones that take most of the time, especially on some of the smaller ones. Yeah, the more compact it is, the longer it takes. Get in there. Yeah, once it goes in the wood, you can just drag it along. And if you hand moves and afraid of going offline, just let go of the trigger. Yeah. Weird, I felt a little shock. But I think it's because the neon sign transformer is just sitting on that wood, so it's technically grounded to it, but I'm not getting shocked that bad. Like, not really at all, except for that I felt like a shock. Could have just pinched on the handle though. be working on my car, and since it's sitting up on a jack with 3 wheels, I just gotta change the rotor and brake pads. No biggie. And you don't have to have a 12,000 volt one. I can do this with my 9,000 volt one too. Although I do recommend the 30 milliamp just because it's less current and more likely that you can let go of the trigger or let go of what you're holding if it does shock you. Because it's below the threshold that it does that death grip and doesn't let you let go. Not saying you can't let go with the 60 milliamp, it's just I don't know for a fact, and I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, seriously, can you burn this fast with a hot iron? I don't think so. And not with the same detail. See, it's not a lot of smoke coming off it either. It's like not too bad. It just smells like bonfire, which that's all smoke is unburnt fuel. Because if you look into what wood gas is, you just heat up the wood without letting the flame touch it, and it doesn't burn, and you can catch it and burn it in an engine after some scrubbing and filtering. Because you want to get the moisture out and the tars out of the smoke. Basic gasifier, because you can do the same with plastics and get a fuel too, which I need to start saving my failed prints and my support prints just for that, because I ain't gonna try and put it back into a spool and reuse it. Nah, I'll just turn it into gasoline or, you know, fuel that I can burn like gasoline, because it comes from oil. Plastic does. Yeah, if you didn't know, now you know. I forgot I was going to do some long burns too to get that out of the way. You also want to do that with before you get too many lines around it, because then it will want to jump to those lines. You don't have to be super accurate, and it still should adhere to the line, because the graphite, it loves to go through graphite. Try this for a long burn. Bada bing, bada boom. That's very nice, very nice. Yeah. Let's save some time so I don't have to drag it across the whole thing. know, I've only met, or I haven't met them, but I've only seen 2 other people that do something similar. One guy uses little probes in a high voltage source, probably a flyback or maybe an NST, and he does something similar, but it seemed like he got a lot of flack, and he gave in to the negativity, which I saw a lot of it too when I started, so I get it. But one thing I learned from a sandblasting accident after walking around with sores looking like a fucking meth head, I learned not to care what people think, because that ain't the truth. The sores are from a sandblasting accident, so I mean, nothing I can do about it, but can't change how people see it. And so, you know, whatever. I appreciate the concern, but that's not it. So I just quit caring. Walk around like, you know, I can see I'm obviously not acting like it, but, you know, it appears like I'm on it just from the skin sores and lesions or whatever, or the cuteness silica granuloma. Cuteness meaning of the skin, silica meaning what's in there, and the granuloma are the sores forming of it growing out. So my give a fucks is gone, which is good, because I'm not doing this for anyone but me. I enjoy making art, and I'm furthering the field for it, trying to get people to wake up to see it's not the same deadly art that fucking kills people. Like, it's clearly are microwave transformers, and that's the issue, because they don't have the magnetic shunts like this one does that bypass the secondary coils, so all that magnetic flux doesn't go into the secondary, and it only takes in the leakage, whatever it can't go through those shunts. Therefore, it's limited in current, whereas the other one, microwaves will get about 0.7 to 1 amp out of the secondary after getting 10 to 15 amps into the primary, and it just balances out, because as the volts go up, the amps go down, which, you know, it's the watts. That may not be a lot of amps, but at that voltage it's a lot of watts, and that's definitely what kills. These transformers I'm using are, let's see, it says 195 watts as opposed to a 1,000 watt microwave transformer. Yeah, that's definitely gonna kill you. This, no, 195. And the other one's probably less with the lower volts. Fall asleep. Only got 36 minutes on. We might make it the 45-minute mark. Yeah, let's see if I can speed up some of this, or if it's just gonna fuck me over in the end. Oh, can I swear on YouTube? I don't know. Fuck it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, buddy. It's always easier to start off from a burn point also, where it's already into the wood. So you're just dragging it through where it's already in. Oh. Fingers are a little numb. It's never happened before. Weird. Can it do it? Nope. Nope. Maybe? Too fast. Just right. Oh, and another thing, I don't ground them, because that just puts you closer to it. They say even with microwave transformers, you got to remove that the grounding, because that just creates another problem, because then you only need to come into contact with one of them instead of both of them. You want to isolate it from ground so that it will only arc to the other one. Like, see, it won't arc to that. But if I had that to the ground and I was on concrete, like I could arc to the concrete. So you want to remove it from ground and isolate it, and then isolate yourself from ground if you do ground it, because then you won't shock you either. So a rubber mat is not a bad idea. I don't need one, not for this. Not since I don't ground them. But every time I did get shocked by this thing, it was grounded. And after figuring that out, has not shocked me since. So there's that. missed the 45-minute mark. Yeah, that's another way you can add some shading or shadows, is get it really thick on the shaded side. Almost done. I can put down the brush now. I'm not going to be using that again for the rest of it. Maybe my hand will feel better without holding that awkwardly. I'm getting there. Okay, maybe I dropped the brush a little too soon. If you don't have it what's the word? Oh. I'll say doped, but you know, well conditioned. If you don't have it well conditioned, it will just burn above it and you get those blackened areas instead of those fine details. Because it'll burn above it instead of in it. There. And magic. 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 It's not magic. Science. And then to help get it in the wood, sometimes I turn it sideways so it goes to the points. It goes into the wood, down closer to it, as opposed to arcing above it too. Yeah, it's too wet. So I go above it just to dry it out. And time. 50 minutes. Oh, plus some detail. Yeah, 51. Fuck it. And I'd say I'm pretty happy with it. No pencil marks anywhere. Left unburnt. Oh, except for right there. Yeah, and I just go over it a little bit. Shoo, and then, oh, yeah, it's probably gonna be an hour total because I want to add a little more detail. bring out the big brush. Actually, I'm gonna pause, rinse it off, and come back, add some more solution where I want it to burn, and be done. Okay, got it rinsed off. I just take the solution and wet wherever I want to burn, or add that detail. I'll just hover above it, giving it that spider lightning dance across it. And good. And you usually want to save this for last anyways, because it doesn't burn that deep. It chars the outside and leaves a very unique, distinct pattern that I really like. Go over most of it, get most of that liquid burned off. Until it starts to show the pattern. Harder to do when there's such a small gap in the lines because it wants to automatically jump to the lines, but yeah, it's still doable. coming out. Or you could just use one and set one in a center spot somewhere. Be careful, because that will darken whatever line you stick it on. But you could just use one.